Okay, let me hit the. I don't know how that works. All right, so it says we're live. Okay, so it's recording now, so I guess I don't have to record the other way. All right, so hi guys, this is Babs Alexander, your international vocal coach, and I really wanted to take some time to talk with you today about your vocal health and you joining our free masterclass, which is going to be on August 15th. At 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I want to make sure that you get a chance to do so. And if you haven't gotten the opportunity to do so, send me that email so we can make sure that you get a chance to be there and you'll get your reminders up for the actual class. That's going to be paact.llc@gmail.com. Again, it's paact.llc@gmail.com. So I want to bring in today Miss Courtney Shelby. Courtney Shelby is a fitness expert guru. I met Courtney. Actually, even though Courtney lives in Colorado, I didn't meet her in Colorado. I met her in Italy.
Yes.
We were in this program years ago, and it was a music program, and it was bringing people from all over the world into this one program with one passion in mind, and that was the love of music. And so we got an opportunity to work together, and I am so happy that that connection has lasted for as long as we can. Since 1996, 97, Court.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's been a while. And so I'm very, very, very excited about what's happening and what's going on at this time. So Courtney's going to talk to you a little bit about your vocal health. You guys, I've been talking to you for quite a while now about how important it is for you to exercise and make sure you know what to do and how to do it. If you hadn't had a chance to look at any of my videos, what are you waiting on? Because now we didn't told you about that. Don't get me started. Now we trying to be nice because Courtney's here. Don't. You know how I am in my personality now. I'm sorry, Courtney, because they know we talk to them consistently how important it is for them to do things properly, because abnormal use is definitely abuse. And you don't need to abuse the voice. You have to prepare yourselves. That's just like going out in the wintertime and trying to get your car to start. Now, you haven't done any of what you need to do to have the car to start. You haven't done anything to even keep the car regulated so it can start. So there are different things that you need. And we're going to be talking about it in depth in some of the master courses, but for that free master class, it's a class where you need to come in with paper and pencil and some water and be ready to learn. Okay, so that free master class is coming up on August 15th at 7 p.m. So you do not want to miss it. But I want Courtney, because a lot of times when I'm saying things to people, it's like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, really? So we brought in an expert so she can talk to you. How does voice and fitness work together? Can you tell them a little bit, please, Courtney?
Yeah, sure. And thanks, Barbara, for the great introduction. We've been friends a long time. I really appreciate it. Glad to have this opportunity. So it's so interesting because the voice is no different than a muscle per se. So it's just like fitness. I think you and I talked about this earlier, but when you talk about working out your voice, it's the same type of routine as you would for your body. It encompasses things like warm up, cool down. It encompasses cardiorespiratory. So your voice is like in a sense, treated like a muscle. And of course, there are actually muscles that make up your throat. And then you talk about things like your abdominals and things like that have muscles. So just kind of want to put that out there, like in a kind of a layman's term, that it's really the same type of thought process or same type of like physiological process. So let's say you are a vocalist and you are preparing, whether you're preparing for a lesson or long term, you're preparing for a performance.
Uh-huh.
It's not something that you can just jump right in and do. There's a, what's the word I'm trying to say? There is a acclimation period. So
Absolutely.
give you kind of like a comparison. So like, let's say fitness, if somebody wants to lose weight and tone up, well, that is not going to happen in 2 weeks or even 30 days. The acclimation period is somewhere around 60 to 90 days. Well, it's actually the same thing with voice, that, it takes practice, but it takes certain exercises to build up strength, to build up endurance, which comes from a different place. Well, there's muscle endurance, but there's also cardiorespiratory endurance. So it's similar.
Absolutely. Courtney, I always tell them, not to interrupt you,
You're
but
good.
I always talk to them about the core and the 7 parts of the core. Remember when we learned that years ago?
Yeah.
And I was telling them about the upper stomach and lower, and the abs, and the upper up with the rib cage, and the lower back, and all of that. But the core needs to be toned. It doesn't matter if you're a size 0 or a size 30. The core itself needs to be toned so you can be able to hold and sustain a note. And I always talk to them, even when I'm training people, for whether it's for the Miss America pageant or for the Apollo or whatever it is that I'm training people for. I constantly tell them the first thing we need to approach and we need to get in shape is the core. Now, when I say get in shape, the core, I'm not saying I got to have me a 6-pack, even though I wouldn't like to have me one. But I'm just saying that it needs to be able to be strong enough, because if they look at various opera singers and they look at it, even though how heavy they are, they can see how they can hold and sustain a tone for so long because their core has been exercised and used. Excuse me. So I really, really, I want you if you can just elaborate a little bit on that core and why it's important, and what can they do in order for them to even get ready for something like this?
Yeah, sure. That's actually a great question, because that really is kind of the foundation, core, in a sense, foundation for a vocalist. So one of the things, like Barbara said, is it doesn't matter what size you are. Strength does not dictate the size of a person. It dictates the power you're going to output. So we talk about what she was talking about, sustaining notes, or maybe the tone or the quality of the voice. So with core, this is where exercise comes into play. So there are, I know, specific exercises that I'm sure you give, first of all, to vocalists to do. But then in addition to that, this is where something like, here's an example. One of the best exercises anybody could do as a vocalist is just practicing basic planks. So you've heard of that, planks and forearm planks, right? And they can be done anyhow. They can be done on the floor, on the bed, on a chair, but that's kind of like a foundational exercise for core.
That's all we're gonna give them, because if they really want to do this, Courtney, let me tell you something. They're gonna have to join your master class. Now, understand, inside this course that we're offering you, that 4-week course that I was telling you about, Courtney is involved in that. Now, she's going to give you those tidbits, and now she already told you. Now, you can go practice it if you want to, but if you want to one-on-one and actually be a part of this class and actually do it with her so she can show you how it's going to transform you, then that is something that you need to do, is join our master class. All right. And this is not the free master class. This is the 4-week course that we're talking about, where she'll get a chance to come in and she's going to educate you a little bit on that. Okay. So we don't want to give them too much, Courtney, because you give them too much, then they'll be like, I don't need to join the class. I just need to sit right here.
Well, here's what's funny about that is just like in fitness or if somebody's doing weight loss, one exercise is not going to get you to your goal. So there are no
Absolutely.
secrets in that. But the good news is that you need to know, like, it's about having a routine, just like fitness. And what's great is all these opera singers and then other type classical and other genres of singers. That's exactly why they have somebody there who has a routine for them because they practice. So you too need a routine that you can practice and that will help you get from point A to B, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or professional level. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So, well, we'll be definitely looking for the people to join us. And Courtney, we're just really excited about having you here today. And before we end this interview, is there anything that you need to say to just get the people to know that they need to enjoy and get involved in this vocal training? And I want to ask you one question, because I always said to the people, voice lessons aren't just for singers. I think that voice lessons are also for speakers. I think that it is extremely, extremely important for someone that have a speech impediment to have voice lessons. For someone that is struggling with what to say to have lessons, and then there are some do's and don'ts that they need for people in general. I think people, because if you ever think about it, when we first were born, I don't know one child. Now, if you do, comment below, but you name one child that has lost their voice from screaming. One child, the babies that's on their back, screaming and hollering, wanting their mama to pick them up. Do you know, have you ever heard of a baby lost their voice from screaming and hollering?
no, I don't
No.
think so.
You know why? Because a baby comes out breathing the correct way. They sing, they already, Now understand this. I will never forget this story because I always use my sister's children, for example. Now, I have been teaching voice lessons before birth, during birth, after birth. And you should hear the kids now. They think they really can sing. Now they want to act like they shy. But I start them with listening to music and humming to them as she was pregnant. Then when the babies came out, I started having them to listen to the music. So it was almost like the Pavlov theory. They consistently knew immediately what to do when they heard certain classical pieces. Then when we started with the by the time that baby was 6 weeks old, she went from with the tongue to I said, get out of here. I could not believe how well trained you can start training a child as early as from 0 all the way up. But there are certain things you should and you should not do when training children. And it is so imperative that you join these classes so you can learn what to do, what not to do. Is this safe? Is this abusive? Am I stretching it too much? Am I hurting them? What can I do? Can I eat me some French fries and potato chips before my voice lesson? What would happen if I had some sunflower seeds? Man, I will never forget $150 going down the drain. Why? Because I decided to eat on the way to New York from Connecticut a pack of sunflower seeds. I am still mad about it. Just thinking about the fact. And you know what really, really made me mad, Courtney? Not many months hence, my voice teacher died. I was so serious about my lessons. I recorded every single lesson. Wow. And then I was like, I missed one of my lessons because of these sunflower seeds. And on top of that, somebody broke in my car and stole my voice recorder. Oh, I was in tears. I'm still mad about it because voice lessons are like gold. It's like gold. You want to keep them, So, all right. Well, I don't want to keep rumbling, but it's so good to have you, Miss Courtney. I miss you.
Me too. I think there's so many important lessons in what you said. And one in particular, I think was really great. You were talking about like the importance of having your teacher and then they were gone. And it's the same in my field, like one word from a teacher, somebody in my industry and fitness and yours, one word from a teacher, one lesson can change your life. In my business, it could be the difference between 10 pounds and 50 pounds. In your,
Correct.
it could be that one word that can mean the difference in getting the audition or getting that position or getting that breakthrough you need in technically. So
Absolutely. And making the connection is it. Making
yeah,
the connection, because we can say the same thing both ways and no one gets it. But once they really understand what the connection is, they can
yeah.
apply it in both physical and through singing or whatever it is that they're doing. Once they make that connection, and I really, really want them to understand how important it is. And don't just think it's a singing thing. You know, this is something, especially when we start talking about the basics and then we take you to where, you know, you're able to use these things. I mean, when we start talking about voice lessons for speakers, you know, I want them to be, we're going to hit on different points in the free masterclass, but in that 4-week masterclass, it is essential that people sign up for that 4-week course, for that class. Only 40 people. So if you want to sign up for that class, then send me the email at paact.llc@gmail, and we will go ahead and start to sign you up, because we're only going to take 40 people at a time. Why? Because we want to make sure that everybody is learning and functioning. So we're only going to take 40 people. If not, you're going to have to wait till the next class. Okay. All right. Love you guys much. This has been Babs.